Welcome, Genesis International College students. Let's jump right into today's explainer. We're tackling topic 5, which is all about safely dismantling scaffolding up to 4 meters and then properly cleaning up the site afterwards. You know, putting these structures up is definitely an art form, but taking them down safely, well, that is an absolute strict science.
Consider this your definitive study guide, but honestly, more importantly, it's your blueprint for keeping yourself and your entire crew out of the hospital. We're going to distill down the essential practical skills and work health and safety duties that you absolutely must master before you even step foot on a site. Because, let's be real, this isn't just about passing a test. Whether you're working with modular scaffolding every single day or maybe just setting up a working platform every now and then, the principles we're covering today are about real-world stakes. We're talking about preventing accidents, protecting your livelihood, and making sure everyone goes home safely at the end of their shift.
So here is our roadmap for today. Number 1. Fundamentals of restricted scaffolding. 2. Planning and compliance frameworks. 3. Safe dismantling procedures. 4. Site cleanup and sorting. And 5. Environmental protection and storage.
Section 1. Fundamentals of restricted scaffolding. So let's get our definition straight first. Safe Work Australia tells us that a scaffold is a temporary structure erected to support access or working platforms. Simple enough, right? We rely on these setups heavily in construction because, frankly, you just can't do certain jobs from the ground or a finished floor. You absolutely need a safe, stable platform. But here is the critical thing to remember. Because you're suspended up in the air, the inherent risks multiply exponentially. You're basically building an artificial environment to cheat gravity, and let me tell you, gravity is incredibly unforgiving. Every single joint, every plank, and every pin matters.
4 meters. Keep that number in your head, because that is the absolute legal threshold for restricted height scaffolding. It's kind of the magic number, where the physics of a potential fall change completely, and because of that, the law changes entirely too. If a person or an object has the potential to fall from greater than 4 meters, a trained and licensed person must regularly inspect and certify that scaffold before anyone even thinks about using it. Knowing your limits and the legal boundaries of your equipment is step 1 of scaffolding safety.
Section 2. Planning and compliance frameworks.
Now, because scaffolding is classed as high-risk work, we have to operate under some pretty strict legislative and safety frameworks. One of the best tools in your arsenal is the Model Code of Practice. This provides practical guidance to principal contractors and PCBUs, which stands for Persons Conducting a Business or Undertaking. Basically, it spells out exactly how to meet health and safety requirements under the WHS Act and regulations. Following standards, like the AS/NZS 4576 guidelines, well, it's never just a suggestion. It is a legally binding framework that has been built over decades of trial and error, specifically designed to keep you alive.
So before you start ripping anything apart, you don't just guess how it comes down. You always consult the documentation first. We're talking plans and specs, drawings, work orders, and the manufacturer's instructions. But above all else, the most crucial document is the SWMS, the Safe Work Method Statement. If there's any risk of a person falling more than 2 meters, having a completed SWMS is the absolute holy grail of site safety. It outlines the specific hazards of the job and the exact controls you'll use to mitigate them. Combined with site inspections and your standard safety processes, these documents are literally your step-by-step survival guide.
Section 3. Safe dismantling procedures.
Okay, here is the golden rule when it comes to the teardown. Step 1, check your SWMS and all safety rules. Step 2, and if you only remember one thing from this explainer, make it this. Dismantle strictly in the reverse order of erection. Think of it like a giant game of Jenga. You can't just yank a piece out from the bottom or the middle and expect the whole thing to stay standing. Scaffolding is built to support itself progressively, transferring all that weight safely down to the ground. So it has to come down exactly the same way, from the top down, component by component. And step 3, always use safe manual handling techniques. Let the powerful muscles in your legs do the work and protect your back every single time you lift or lower a piece.
There are some massive hazards you have to actively avoid here. First up, do not stack components near edges. They can easily get kicked off and instantly turn into lethal projectiles for anyone working below. Also, don't block walkways or stack materials right in access points. You're just building an obstacle course of tripping hazards on an already busy site. And this is a big one. Never, ever climb through or over guardrails just to save a few seconds. Using the actual installed gates might take you 2 extra seconds, but it prevents fatal falls. Trust me, shortcuts on scaffolding almost always lead to disaster.
Section 4. Site cleanup and sorting.
So the scaffolding is finally down. But guess what? The job isn't quite done yet. During the teardown, you're handling every single piece of that scaffold. This is the perfect time for strict waste separation. You need to constantly ask yourself, is this component perfectly functional or is it damaged? Functional components are good to go. They're safe to reuse or store. But damaged components, say a bent pipe or a heavily rusted clamp, those must be physically tagged out of service. Why is this so critical? Because if you just toss a broken part back into the main pile, the next crew might unknowingly use that compromised piece 3 meters up in the air. Tagging it ensures it is permanently pulled from rotation to be properly repaired or scrapped.
Section 5. Environmental protection and storage.
Let's talk about stormwater protection. When you're washing down tools, plant equipment, or cleaning up the work area, you must never allow wash water containing paint, chemicals, or debris to wash into the site's stormwater system. It's not just lazy to dump contaminants down a drain. It can trigger massive fines from regulators and cause severe, long-lasting damage to local waterways. You have a strict legal responsibility to use designated washout areas or evaporation pits to manage your site runoff the right way.
To officially sign off on the job, you have to complete the final restoration. This means clearing the site completely of any surplus materials. You'll need to dispose of, reuse, or recycle materials properly based on the specific waste plan for your site. Take the extra time to really clean, check, and maintain your plant equipment and tools. And finally, make sure all equipment is stored exactly to the manufacturer's specifications. Honestly, this final checklist right here is what separates the amateurs from the professionals. Amateurs leave a chaotic mess for the next trade. True professionals reset the site so it's immaculate, safe, and totally ready for whatever job comes next.
So as we wrap up Topic 5 and you get ready to step onto an active site, I want you to ask yourself, when the pressure is on and the clock is ticking, will you remember that golden rule of reverse order dismantling? Will you remember your unyielding duty to protect your crew from hazards and the environment from contamination? Mastering this stuff isn't just about checking a box to pass your unit at Genesis International College. It's about becoming the professional on site that everyone else fully trusts to keep them safe. Thanks so much for learning with us today, and stay safe out there.